This thing is a phased array radio built around a Raspberry Pi 5 and an FPGA board with picosecond level timing. It does advanced signal processing and beamforming. It can see your Wi-Fi through walls and track drones in flight. If the open source community can come up with something like this, just imagine what governments are capable of. This kind of thing used to cost like 20 grand, but you can pre-order one of these for $4.99 on Crowd Supply. But maybe if nothing else, this video will help you realize the signals around you are definitely not secret, and you can learn a lot from them. Like when you plug a computer into a network, tools like Wireshark can show you all the hidden traffic you might not even know is there. Well, did you know that Wi-Fi packets are also the same way? Like using some extra software, I can scan Wi-Fi networks from long range with this, then decode Wi-Fi packets and snoop on unencrypted traffic. Just goes to show you how important encryption is. If it's wireless, chances are other people can pick up the same signal. Anyway, this is not to scare you or anything. Governments have had tools like this for years. It's just better to know what's possible and expose bad security practices than to ban useful tools like these. So if you're in the CIA, don't get any ideas. I got started just testing this thing around the studio. So this just came in this morning and I've been testing it around the studio to see if I can find like Wi-Fi signals, because I have a few access points. I have a bunch of devices on the 5 gigahertz network and some on the 6 gigahertz network. And I've just been using it with my phone, and it does pick up quite a bit. It's I'd say this is definitely pre-production. The UI for this is kind of basically a VNC through your browser. So that doesn't translate perfectly through the phone, but it works, it's serviceable. The cool thing is everything is running on the Raspberry Pi 5. Like it has GNU radio, it has all these tools to inspect wireless signals, and then you can also send the data out through the Ethernet port or through high-speed USB or something for processing on another computer. But it all fits here. There's, I think, a few batteries in there, a few lithium-ion rechargeable battery cells that can power the Pi for, this has been on for 15-20 minutes, and I don't see a battery indicator. That'd be a cool thing to have on here. I'm still trying to figure out how to calibrate it a little bit so that I can get exactly lined up with like my camera and where the signals are bouncing off. This is one of those tools that, I don't know, it's just so cool to see the things that you read about, but hold it in your hand with phased arrays and being able to see where wireless signals are. And I love seeing that this is actually going to be for sale like on Crowd Supply. So that's kind of why I'm showing this to you. And my dad, who's an RF engineer for 40 plus years, he has had a lot of experience with AM towers and phasors and phased arrays. So I went to show him this thing, and he's coming here in just a little bit. So when he gets here, I'm going to boot this thing back up for him and let him say what he thinks about it. Doing some extra testing around the studio, I have noticed a few things actually. One is I actually have 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi here. I have Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7. And if you're using that, it's not in the range of this because that's the 6 to 7 gigahertz band actually. And this does, I think, 4.9 or something to 6 gigahertz. So you really need Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi 6, which is 5 gigahertz band, to see this very well. And also you'll notice, so I'm just pointing this over here. See this? I'm pointing it at over there. So I wonder if they have an access point that's like in the wall over here somewhere that I'm just kind of seeing through. But now I'm going to point this up at my access point, which is right there. You can see there's more activity, but it's not really stable. It's not showing a ton of activity. You can see a bunch of bursty stuff there. I'm going to run a speed test on my phone here, and we'll see if we see more. Yeah, so you can see there's a lot more blue. That's my AP on the 5 gigahertz band. I'm on channel 100, I think. And when it finishes that speed test, that blue goes away. So there has to be activity. There actually has to be activity on the network for this to see that activity. So yeah, there's that AP, and here's the handheld. My arm's getting very tired, so I'm gonna have to stop this for now. But that's something that's not necessarily immediately intuitive. There's something really bright out there. Let's see, where am I pointing right now? I wonder if it's getting a reflection off the phone, maybe. Let's see if I can see the phone here. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of activity on the phone right now. Here's me just pointing it at the wall next door on the other side of me, and there's some activity that I can see. There's definitely something going on down there. Whoa, what is that? I'm pointing it into this region. I don't have anything plugged in over there, so I wonder if they have a device next door, like a printer or a computer or something that's down there. There's a lot of wireless activity that's definitely real. It's not like ghosting or something that I can see in my studio space. There it is again, something next door. It's right in this region, so I wonder if they have a wall-mounted access point over here. Now, they also included this little drone camera transmitter with this funky little antenna. And if I plug it into power, it should start broadcasting constantly. And I don't know if I'll be able to decode the RF from it. I'm going to set it on something that's slightly insulated here. But I'm going to try that. Let me set this down and I'll plug it in. All right. Oh, okay. And I just released the magic smoke on there. So I was trying to get that FPV camera set up so that I could show my dad, but of course he showed up right after I let out the magic smoke. Dad, do you know what this is?
Yes, I do, since it's like take 3.
We're having technical difficulties, but not because of this. It's not on right now. This is a phased array antenna with 4 antennas on it, and you noticed on the side, what it says?
The Raspberry Pi, yeah.
Yep.
Saw that.
And then there's a black box on the back. Very mysterious. It's just a battery pack, but it looks mysterious because it's 3D printed.
Yeah.
But if I open this up, we can see what's inside of it, which is a Raspberry Pi 5. And then what do you think is on this board here?
Well, well, with you with time, there's got to be something with timing on there, but maybe not. No GPS or anything.
There's no GPS.
But I noticed there's cables here that go to the camera port. Or 2. I guess there's 2 camera ports.
So it's interesting. The Raspberry Pi has camera and display ports, cam/display on the board. And they're using a protocol called MIPI, which is just a high-speed connection between the CPU and external devices. They didn't really hack it. They're just using it in a different way than I think most people would to send RF data from this little FPGA from the 4 antennas. And it allows transmission too at like 5 gigabits per second, something like that, straight into the Pi CPU for processing. So that's kind of cool. And you said there is timing there. I don't think that there's like a temperature-controlled oscillator or anything like that. There might be, but it uses a phase-locked loop to kind of get a really, really good timing signal for the radios down to, I think they said 1.4 picoseconds phase noise resolution, which is good for 5 gigahertz, which is the range that's 4.8 to 6 gigahertz, something like that.
And it looks like, do they have like a transmit antenna and a duplicate receive antenna exactly the same size?
It looks like it, because it's a transceiver, so you can transmit and receive. Of course, if you are not licensed to transmit on a certain band at a certain power rating, don't do it. If you're licensed and you know what you're doing, then go ahead. Yeah, there's 4 antennas on here, and it's just a little magnetic closure that lets you point this different ways.
Nippy.
But the crazy thing is like that the reasons that why I wanted to take a look at this is not yet on the market. It's on crowd supply. So caveats, it being crowdfunded and all that. I did place an order for one, but it has a Raspberry Pi 5, which I was interested in. It's RF, which I'm interested in. It's a phased array antenna, which I'm also interested in. It looks cool. Like, there's a lot of reasons, but also it has that 1.4 picosecond phase noise, which in my timing research, I know that that's important for measurements and calibration and all that. In RF, like I know that we went to a tower site with a phaser. Does that have to do with timing?
Yeah, well, I think in our case, we're sending out everything over copper, so nothing's like delayed or RF bouncing or anything like that. But so we get the signal, but it is critical that the energy goes out at the right phase, hits the towers, and they radiate and mix. We just don't have like our phase delay devices would be like the capacitors or the inductors that could work at that kind of thing.
So like when you're tuning the tower, when you set up your array, that's when you set things up and then you kind of just let it go.
Yes, yeah, you do. And I think it's because the stability of the components is critical.
So the transmitter and the phaser and all that stuff working together. And then you have antenna tuning too, but that wouldn't be for phase. Would that be just
it's
for
mainly to match the antenna.
ohms?
Yeah, mainly to match the antenna, the tower, which might be, you're looking for 50 ohms J0, but the tower might be 72 ohms or 6 ohms or whatever. So you're looking for an interface, so when you send stuff out, you're sending out 50 J0 or whatever that tower calls for.
Yeah. So this one, since we're dealing with gigahertz, these don't have to be very large antennas.
No,
They don't have to have the giant phasers and stuff, and we're not dealing with 10 kilowatts or whatever. But there is a spec in there where they talk about EIRP, and they say that if you put 18 of these together, you could have 100 kilowatts of radiated power. EIRP though. So what is the difference between EIRP and like what I would say would be like just if you had a little walkie-talkie and a 5-watt antenna?
Yeah, well, the antenna that radiates energy out, the same 1 watt of energy, if equivalent, if you started to make all that energy go to one tiny beam to a dot, it becomes a lot more intense than just a broad antenna. And since everything's kind of referenced to the little wire antenna, the isotropic antenna, that's where you get the comparison or the equivalent radiated power.
So basically you could have like 1 watt here, but it's so focused that at some point it would be like the equivalent 100 watts or 500 watts.
Compared to the distance at a completely circular pattern.
Okay, so this could maybe cook a hot dog, but only like a few grams of the hot dog in the middle of it.
Yeah, I would guess.
So I think we should turn this thing on and see what we can do around the studio, because they said that you can also find drones with it. And you have a drone, I have a drone.
Yeah.
We can send them up and see what we can see. Okay, so when it boots up, there's a green light on the side. That's just the Pi's light. It should start its own network here called QuadRF, and there it is. So if I connect to it on this laptop, I'm connected to it, and then I should be able to type in QuadRF in the browser, and it should show the interface. So here it is. It gives you some controls over the radio itself. The layout here is a little funny. That's because this is all very beta. This is not the final software, but it has all the features you'd need. You can set frequencies for receive and sending and all that stuff. The coolest part of this, at least I think, is this spatial RF vision. And if I open that, this is showing what this radio sees. So if I point it at different things, ideally we should be seeing different types of RF. I've also noticed that if I point it through walls, I can see other people's access points, which is funny. But let me do a speed test on here. Let me make sure that I'm on the right Wi-Fi network, because like I said, I have 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi on Wi-Fi 7 and Wi-Fi 6E, but this won't see those, so I have to be on my 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So I'm going to get on that, and I'm going to do a speed test, and we'll see. I also don't know which network I'm on. So I can see there's like a little dot in there, but let me see if I can find it on the actual access point. I think that I'm on the one out here, so let's come out here.
So you're doing a speed
Okay,
test.
here we go. Yeah, so now you can see this blue. That's when I'm doing the speed test, it lights up blue.
Yeah, because you're aimed up at...
Yeah, so see that, how it turns blue? So there's a lot more RF. And where this becomes more interesting is when I can plug my phone straight into the back of this thing and show you the camera feed from the phone. So let's do that, and then we'll try hunting for a drone maybe.
All right.
Ooh, there's something there. Look at that.
Where is that?
I don't know. Here, let's follow this.
Can I block it, or we're just going to see?
Nope.
Yeah.
It's gone now. So somewhere up there. This is backwards. That's one thing that makes this difficult. Whoa. Somewhere up here. See that? It's either an access point or... No, I'm not getting a reflection because that'd be up there. So somewhere on that side of the wall, I'm pretty sure that they have an access point at the business next door, because you can see a lot of data coming out of there. But then if I look up at mine, you can see that it's when there's not a lot of activity, it's just bursty, just like little bursts of light. But then if I go in here, it's funny, the signals seem to bounce quite a bit around inside of here. So I can see that there's my access point, but that's on 6 gigahertz only. So there are some bursts on 5 gigahertz. I think I have a separate network on there. It's a little hard to see. There's back here, there's some blue. So I think that if we go through this wall, we'll see what that is. So it's funny, the closer I am, it's probably gain settings or something, but the closer I am, it's actually a little harder to see. You can see those little blue bursts there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to connect my phone to it now. QuadRF. And yes, I want to visit the website. And I'll hit record on here so we have this. So now if I go in here, oh, these little These little guys are always annoying. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can get this into the little phone holder. So if I go in here, I should be able to do. I think I have to turn on spatial, so it's looking, and then also go to this augmented reality thing, and allow my camera. So now, see, now I can see my camera. Yeah. The other thing is that you have to kind of calibrate this because my camera is down here, and the thing is up there. But you can see there is some blue. Looks like it's coming out of the laptop. So let's do a speed test. If I go in here, okay. And then, oh yeah, there was some more. Let's do fast.com. And oh boy, look at all this. Yeah, there's a lot more Wi-Fi activity going on now. It's funny too, it looks like it might be bouncing off some of the metal things here and getting reflections. But definitely a lot more active all of a sudden here. Redo it. Here, come back a little bit. And that's interesting seeing how the signal, I guess, propagates out and reflects off surfaces when it's doing stuff. If you really want to calibrate this, I think that you need to change some settings here that I don't know exactly how all that works, but I think this also might be a little more automatic in the final version, hopefully. But yeah, there you go. Now it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing anything, just those little bursts. And if I refresh again, now it's going crazy again.
Would it work through a concrete wall?
I don't know. Let's try. So the concrete is definitely blocking all of that out. I'm not seeing anything through there. It's blocking at least most of it.
Now what about the gain?
Yeah, I'll turn the gain back up. It's a little finicky. I am getting some blue through the door there. Interesting.
Yeah.
So let me hit this back again. So we're definitely hitting stuff there. And then I wonder if we're getting like sunlight reflections too, you know. There's something, but it's
RF popping through there. You got gain up.
So the door definitely attenuates the signal. I just it's a little bit hard, I think, to get exactly how much or ways that we can kind of figure that out with this particular interface. I think that there could be some improvements to this, especially the usability on a mobile phone. Because I think what they're doing is this is actually like a VNC session in the browser. But why don't we get out a drone and see what we can find with that?
Yep.
So I'm going to get out my little DJI Mini 4K, which I think has a 5 gigahertz radio, but I'm not 100% sure. And question, do you have your drone with you?
Yes, I do.
Maybe we should do your drone and I'll record you, because I just realized I don't have the fancy controller with the screen, so I'd have to take my phone out of there, repair it. So let's just do your drone.
Okay.
I could fly it in here, that would be fun. So not seeing anything yet, but I think that it doesn't transmit on that band until we get to video transmission.
Yep. Got it there. Still waiting.
So I'm checking here. Nope, I'm seeing some red splotches. Yeah, there's definitely something going on here now. I got 2 red splotches. One is where your transmitter is and one is where the drone is.
Yeah. I'm getting video now, transmission, but see that? Map best it can do is somewhere, looks like Africa maybe.
We're in Africa.
Or something like that.
In honor of the World Cup.
That GPS, satellites, nothing in here. All right, so yeah, so I am seeing the video, it's transmitting.
Yeah, the alignment is a little bit off because I have the phased array is way above the iPhone here and we're kind of close range. But if I come back, do you want to go outside and fly it up and see if I can watch it?
Yeah.
That pink coming from you. Why don't you set the drone down and then move away and we'll see if I can keep watching it.
All right. So you're seeing that, right?
Yep.
Pink.
Oh, look at that. Now it's really letting out something.
Take off. Home point updated.
Can you still see it?
Yep.
Still see it?
It's a bit fainter now. wonder if also because I'm shooting straight into the sun, but I still see splotches every now and then. And if I look at your controller, I see the little pink splotches too around that too. Although I've noticed if I turn left and right, like it's good up and down. Everything's a little bit backwards from what I'm looking for. So I think that everything's flipped right now.
Gotcha.
If I look back up there, let me turn up the gain. Hold on. Hold on a second. Let me turn up the gain on here.
Need to have
And yeah, there we go. So I just had to turn up the gain and now I see it clear as day. Yeah, look at that. Even some reflections off the trees, it looks like. So can you fly it up another bit?
Max altitude reached.
Max altitude? What? All right, fly it back down here.
See if it goes quiet.
Landing.
Look down, and I can look up.
So this is still on and we're still seeing it inside. So I noticed that I did have to manually adjust the gain to be able to see it as it went further away, which makes sense because
Yep.
transmissions, I guess, what is it called? The inverse square law, or is that what it is in radio?
Yeah.
So the further you get away, the more the signal degrades. And so you got to boost the gain on here. But you can see that it's at close range especially, it's really picking up. And it's kind of funny. We have a DJI Pocket 4 talking to a DJI Mini 5 Pro.
Yep. There, wiggle a little bit.
Luckily, the Mini 5 Pro is not banned for sale in the US.
Zooming in. Can you see more activity when that happens?
It seems like it's pretty steady. I think that the camera and the drone, or the controller and the drone, have a pretty solid connection to each other, and it's just transmitting all the time. The thing is that since the phone and the unit are far enough away from each other, it's a little bit hard to get everything aligned on the screen. You have to, I think you're supposed to move this box around and stuff. So I think it'd be cool if they had a mount for this where the phone, like the camera just poked right through here or something, because then I wouldn't have to keep going up and down to try to get things to align. And it's too much of a burden to me moving all this stuff around and adjusting the gain and all that stuff at the same time. So I think that'll be a UI thing that they could fix when they get to the final version. And it's all open source, so if you wanted to build your own UI for this, you could. So I was also going to try this little guy, which is an FPV camera with this funky little antenna that broadcasts, I think, 5.8 gigahertz or something like that. But can you guess what I did with it when I plugged in the battery?
You plugged it in backwards and it didn't like it.
It really didn't like it. There was a little smoke that came out.
So,
And a nice smell.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell anymore. It's been about an hour. So what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's neat in its application. Like even, there's so many times, ham guys, all of us have different times when you want to be able to find a signal and see it like that and display it like that would be great. So
I think one thing that after testing it here in a real world application, like there's a lot of signals that won't see. So I think some people, if you wanted to make a clickbait headline, you'd say like, see what the government sees, or I can see everything that you can't, or something like that. But really, it is limited being 4.8 or 4.9 to 6 gigahertz.
Yeah.
You can't see everything because I have a lot of stuff. The IoT stuff is all 2.4 gigahertz. Right. The LoRa is all 900 megahertz. Yep. And then you have most of my Wi-Fi stuff is Wi-Fi 7 or Wi-Fi 6E, which is 6 to 7 gigahertz. Yeah. So really, you're seeing a narrowish part of the spectrum. It's still super cool, but I think that'd be amazing if they could find a way to do this. It probably costs a lot more to have that bandwidth and everything. Yeah, it'd be super cool to see something that saw like 2 gigahertz up to 6 or something like that.
Well, yeah.
I say that, and I'm looking over it. I have a Edis Research, one of those fancy SDRs that does that, and those things cost $15,000 to $20,000. Yeah. So I don't think that that's a realistic expectation from this. But have you ever seen something like this in the broadcast space?
No, the AMF and broadcast stuff, we wouldn't have needed something like this, really. And it would have been impossible.
Where your tower is.
Yeah, it would have been impossible to, but you take like looking for interference at an NFL football game. Where's that energy coming from? These kind of tools are all there. And guys have that. They have the aimable frequency for the wireless mics and such. They have aimable antennas that they use looking for that.
But usually those just give you like a level and you're like, and then you kind of triangulate. Yes. But this thing, it shows you on the video, like where is it?
That video piece is great. The overlay over the video, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the fact that it runs on a Raspberry Pi all in a little pack. I mean, to me, the coolest thing about it is $500 for this kit. You won't get all the things that I've shown in this video, and you won't get one of these little guys to test and all that. But $500 for something like this 10 years ago, this would probably be $20,000, $40,000, and it would only be government contracts and defense contractors.
Yeah, and for guys who want to learn about arrays and phased arrays and things, this is a great, you're not starting at $10,000.
And if you want to see, like I do want to see if somebody can cook a hot dog with the moon version of this. If that can happen.
A long time.
Yeah. One other thing I just noticed, I wanted to shut this down, but I didn't want to connect to it and go in the browser. They, whoever made this case design made it so that this is a button, and you can click it and it turns on. And then if you want to shut it down, you click it either once or twice. I don't know. I clicked it twice and it shut off, so I don't know if it's a 2-click or whatever, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And there's a fan on top that is PWM, so it ramps up when you're doing a lot of radio stuff, and it ramps down when you're not.
Nice.
And it ramps up when you're outside in the sweltering heat today. So yeah, very cool. You can pre-order one of these on Crowd Supply. A standard kit is $4.99. And I didn't get anything for this video. I'm not getting any commissions or anything for sales. I actually pre-ordered a kit for myself and wanted to share this project before the campaign is over, so that's why I have this one. And I think some of you might be interested too. Of course, crowdfunding campaigns always carry some risk, and it's not just going to ship overnight like with Amazon Prime. But it is a very cool kit, and I'm glad to see all the open source tooling to make this useful. There's another phased array project using ESP32s that I remember seeing called Espargos or something, but I haven't seen any updates on that for a while. But 2026 is shaping up to be a good year for RF tinkering, and I haven't even powered up this board yet.